I am one of a handful of people living today who have seen firsthand the immense weight and awesome power of the presidency. And let me once again tell you this: the job is hard. It requires clear-headed judgment, a mastery of complex and competing issues, a devotion to facts and history, a moral compass, and an ability to listen.
Specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
Over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. More than all the wars.
In God's name, couldn't we provide a $8,000 tax credit for everybody who has child care costs? It would put 720 million women back in the workforce.
And they'd say to you, take my shotgun. I said, I have three. I now have five because my son died and I have three of his. I have 5 shotguns.
Provide efficiency for appliances. That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of, I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air.
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it, it's so much. And by the way, it costs a lot of money. It costs about $740 billion.
Eliminate the capital gains tax. I would raise the capital gains tax.
Look, tomorrow's Super Tuesday, and I want to thank you all. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. Sounds corny. Not a joke. Think about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
You have a entire generation of young people beginning back in 2000 when the attack occurred on 9/11 that in fact have been behind the 8 ball. And I don't quite understand why we're taking so long to do the kinds of things that have to be done. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board.
Rapidly rising. I don't know. Fact is that the bills that the future president here, that the senator is talking about. I'm part of that Obama coalition. I come out of the black community in terms of my support. If you notice, I have more people supporting me in the black community that have announced for me because they know me. They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is
that's not true. The other one is here.
I said the first. I said the first African-American elected. First. The only African-American woman that ever... We should be making those masks. We should be moving on those ventilators. We can do that. Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
Donald Trump was asked on...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, probably best I don't. I just can't figure the guy. It's like watching a yo-yo. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to ask you.
And I tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway. And you're the ones that sent Barack Obama the presidency. And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, You don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Bruh.
Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay?
If elected, you would turn 82 at the end of your first term. You'd be the oldest president in American history.
Like Winston Churchill.
Are you willing to commit American history?
Oh, American history.
Yes. Are you?
I was joking. That was a joke.
Okay.
Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You didn't know where we were anyway. It's great to be here and back in a place where that Iowa and Nevada have spoken. But look, we need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond. What's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it, and what a neat town. This is sort of a scenic, beautiful town. I just spoke at Dartmouth on healthcare at the medical school, or not. I guess I wasn't actually on the campus, but the people from the medical school were at the. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was a medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus. We should make sure that we have no one going to jail for a drug offense. They go directly mandatory prison. Nobody should be in jail for a nonviolent crime.
Duh.
4 more years of Donald Trump will go down as an aberration. Hard to overcome the damage he's done, but we can overcome it. 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. The America we know will no longer exist.
By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. Your phone, now. Send a text to the word United, to the number 30330.
Bruh.
Okay? That's United. 30330 or 303-330 or BOO. Wait. You got it. It's on the back there.
And an ability to listen.
You are actively trying to diminish your Second Amendment right and take away the gun.
You're full of shit. Now, shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. Wait. Take the AR-14s. I'm not taking your gun away.
Hello? Hey, let's get moving. There's a lot of guys. Wanting to.
I'm not working.
Thanks so much.
Give me a break.
Don't be such a hurry. Hey, there's a lot of hey.
The ability to walk in someone else's shoes.
A damn liar, man. That's not true.
No, let him go.
I'm not voting for you. Well, I knew you weren't, man. You think I thought you'd stand up and vote for me? You're too old to vote for me. But look, here's the deal. If you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Get your work straight, Jack.
Empathy. That's something I've been thinking a lot about lately.
How do you explain the performance in Iowa, and why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
Total and utter lack of empathy.
So the younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy for it. Give me a break.
We're going to support you if you win the nominations. We got to get rid of Trump. But what are we going to do about climate change? Now, you say you're against pipelines, but then you want to replace these gas lines. That's not going to work. We got to stop building and replacing pipelines. You got to go vote for somebody else.
All right, thanks so much, sir. We're going to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm going to vote you in the general if you treat me right.
I know. I'm not.
Well, can I?
You should vote for Trump. You should vote for Trump.
You got the right candidate in Bernie. You got the right one. Well, and Elizabeth, or whomever you have, that's a great thing. Tell you what, if you look at my record and you still doubt about my commitment, then you should vote for somebody.
Just let him go. He's an idiot.
If you think things cannot possibly get worse, trust me, they can and they will.
I had a nurse nurses at Walter Reed Hospital who would bend down and whisper in my ear. Wow. And go home and get me pillows. They would make sure they'd actually, probably nothing ever taught in, you can't do it in the COVID time, but they'd actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn, that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
We've been doing everything we can do to keep Biden from being the nominee, and guess what? We tried it in Iraq. It's not working, so now we're going to try, in Iran, excuse me. We tried in Ukraine.
And I can get it done, I can get it done quickly, and people will be covered. But even I can't do that for another a year between now and November, or actually January. But to be covered.
As I've said before, being president doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are.
Thank you. Please sit down if you have a seat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Jill Biden's husband. I work for Cedric Richmond. Great. How are you? Hey, everyone. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Good evening, everyone. As Lily already indicated, I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck.
So, folks, we want to nominate a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, and a Biden-Obama Democrat.
President Biden, just to be clear, would you or would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TPP. Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
A president's words have the power to move markets. They can start wars or broker peace. They can summon our better angels or awaken our worst instincts.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
I want to come to you and talk to you about inequality in schools and race. In a conversation about...
The reason I did what I'm doing is because there's an invasion of Hispanics. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. You had people like you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany. You had Angela Merkel stand up and say how terrible it was.
The first speech stood up. The chancellor, the former chancellor of Germany, stands up. She says, we have to go to London. I took on Putin in terms of Iraq. In terms of what was going on in Ukraine. Avoid having an excuse to walk by the dealer and say, no, I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom. I think Secretary, I wasn't the press going to say I'm downgrading him by calling him Senator Booker. All these breakthroughs we have with dealing with the whole, immune system. But we lead by the example of our power, not just the example of our power, but the example we're out there, and it's what we say.
It is not a hard concept to grasp. It's what we teach our children.
1787, the United States Constitution.
No other nation was founded the way we are. We hold these truths self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, endowed by their Creator. No nation has ever been founded on that principle. That was a time in the late 60s, the early 60s and 60s. Only arrest for the purpose of dealing with a felony that's committed, and I don't count drunk driving as a felony. No, I looked at it anyway. That's what I think my plan, I know what my plan does.
It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
That's why I've made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president.
You simply cannot fake your way through this job.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump. The words of a president matter significantly.
When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. That is the truest form of empathy. Not just feeling, but doing.
Mr. President, wake up.